Hey y'all, it's Eli. I'm making something today my best friend Jessica asked me to make. That is spaghetti squash. This stuff has no carbs in it. Really easy to make, you just gotta figure out how to pop it open. So we're gonna make some homemade Alfredo sauce, we're gonna grill some chicken, and we're gonna make a spaghetti squash. So first thing, I'm gonna take this spaghetti squash. I've got just a fork. I'm gonna poke holes in it in a line. Be real careful not to stab yourself because these are extremely hard. So I'm just poking a hole straight down, going in pretty deep, not all the way. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This is going to release some steam from the spaghetti squash. I'm making it in the microwave today. You can make this in the air fryer, in the Instant Pot, in the oven. You can probably make it on the grill, but it's really easy in the microwave. It takes about 15 minutes overall. So now that I've got holes poked in each side, I'm gonna put this in the microwave for 5 minutes. You don't wanna go much longer than that because there's gonna be steam buildup in here even though I've got holes poked in here, and you don't want an explosion of a spaghetti squash. So 5 minutes. So while our spaghetti squash is in the microwave, I'm gonna take our chicken breast. I've already sliced this in half. I cut the fat off of it. I left this one whole because it's already pretty flat anyways, and these are going to be going on the grill, so I don't want to have to leave them on there very long. Don't want any burnt chicken. So what I'm going to do first is just drizzle some olive oil on the chicken, and then I'm going to take some good quality Italian dressing. Put maybe 4 tablespoons in there. I'm going to put some homemade Italian seasoning. This is oregano, basil, thyme, sage, and rosemary. And then I'm also going to add some garlic powder and some onion powder. So now I'm just going to rub this around and put some more seasoning on the other side. So when you've got your chicken nice and seasoned, set it off to the side. Go preheat your grill to a medium high. By the time that's preheated, all this is going to have enough time to marry. That Italian dressing is really going to help moisten and flavor this chicken breast. Alrighty y'all, it's been 5 minutes in the microwave with our spaghetti squash. It is really hot, so don't burn yourself and be as careful as you can because this is still going to be hard. Cut it in half as best you can. I've got a serrated knife here just to kind of help me keep some grip. So I've got it in half on both sides. I'm just going to twist it. And our spaghetti squash is open. You can see all the seeds in there. You don't need those, so just scoop those out into the sink. So when you've got all your seeds out of your spaghetti squash, take a little bit of olive oil or vegetable oil, drizzle it on top. Just kind of wrap that around as to coat the whole inside that is now open. missed a seed. Crack some black pepper. Now all you're going to do is flip it so the cut side is down. Add some water to the bottom of the plate. Use something that's kind of deep, so I've got about 3/4 of an inch there. So I've got some water in here. As this is cooking in the microwave, that's going to help steam and release all the spaghetti squash from the inside of this hard shell. So I'm going to go in the microwave for 10 minutes. Alrighty y'all, it's been about 20 minutes. Our chicken has been marinating in this delicious sauce. I'm just going to rub it around one last time before I put it on this hot grill. I've got one of the burners off on the grill as to not get the grill too hot and burn our chicken. So I'm going to put it on the side that's off first. Y'all, this smells awesome. So I'm going to close the lid. We're going to go for 5 minutes. Flip and go 5 minutes on the other side. Alrighty y'all, look at this beautiful chicken. It is so moist. That was 5 minutes on the first side and 6 minutes on the second. Just come back in from the grill. Got our chicken all ready. I'm going to go ahead and cover this with some aluminum foil. This is going to keep it nice and hot until everything else is finished. Make sure it stays moist. So I ended up going 13 minutes in the microwave on our spaghetti squash. I dumped the water out. I'm going to flip them over and I'm going to let these sit and cool off just until they're cool enough for me to touch. And then I'll show you how to shred them. So our Alfredo sauce is very, very simple and very delicious. It's got 5 basic ingredients. One of the main ingredients is some Parmesan cheese. This is a good quality. I just opened it up. I'm going to shave this down on a box grater. So if you've never used fresh Parmesan before, when you get down to the bottom, you've got this really tough, dark yellow piece. This is the rind. It's really, really hard. This is what was on the outside of the cheese wheel as it was cooking. You know, it was a whole wheel like that. So this is what was exposed to the oxygen and the elements. And this has a really, really strong, distinct flavor. You don't need to throw this away if you're making some kind of a soup, maybe a potato soup or a gnocchi or something like that. You can drop this down in there and this will flavor that soup so good. So don't waste it, but don't try to grade this in to your Alfredo sauce. That's perfect. We've got about 2.5 cups of fresh grated Parmesan cheese here. I am going to reserve just a couple tablespoons of that. And that's going to go on top of our dish when it's finished for serving. It'll make it look so pretty. Okay y'all, it's time to put together our Alfredo sauce. the base of this is going to be half a stick of butter. This is unsalted because remember we're using all that Parmesan cheese, and that is a really, really salty cheese. So this is not at room temperature. You don't need to let this stuff get hot and then put it back in the cold fridge again because it can ruin. It doesn't have the salt to keep it stable. So I'm going to take half a stick of butter, put it into my measuring cup, stick it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. After 15 seconds, I'm going to dump this into our pot. That's just going to help it to melt down without starting to brown. When your butter has melted, you're going to press in 4 garlic cloves. You can mince these as well if you don't have a garlic press. We're going to saute our garlic alongside a little bit of bacon fat, maybe a teaspoon. Cook for about 2 minutes till the garlic is fragrant. Make sure you don't let your garlic burn. So our garlic is fragrant, it's cooked through, our butter is just now starting to brown, so the wonderful flavor of the butter is coming out. I'm going to add in 4 cups of heavy cream. You're going to turn up your heat. You're going to whisk constantly for 3 to 5 minutes until this starts to thicken. Hey y'all, you can see that our sauce has started to thicken up. It's boiling real nice. I like to put spinach in my Alfredo sauce. Now if you've ever made spinach before, you know that this cooks down to nothing. So I could dump this whole bag in here, and I probably have enough to go on 1 spoon. So be liberal with it. Probably about 4 cups of spinach. This is going to cook down to nothing, like I said. I'm going to switch from my whisk back to my spatula now. I'm going to stir this just until the spinach that's cooked down is wilted. You can see it does not take long at all. When the spinach is cooked down, I'm going to throw in our freshly grated Parmesan cheese. It's about 2.5 cups worth. You can use a little more if you want. You can never have too much cheese. So all I'm going to do now is just keep stirring until the cheese is melted. If you want to use bagged cheese, you can. It's not going to melt right in this. It's going to turn out clumpy. Since I just grated this fresh, that's going to be really creamy and make for a perfect Alfredo sauce. Okay y'all, it's been about 20 minutes. Our spaghetti squash is cool enough to handle. All you need is a fork. Look at this. It turns into spaghetti. Hence the name spaghetti squash. So just go around the edges gently. Try not to puncture the outside, it just makes it easier to get everything out. You scoop it out once you get enough in there. And make sure you scrape down the edges. Every bit of the inside of this is going to come out as spaghetti squash. Every bit of that came out and is now spaghetti squash. So this is just the casing. You can see how hard it is even after being cooked for so long in the microwave. And this is what you're left with. Something that has a beautiful consistency. This looks like spaghetti. It's got the same color. If you cook it right and season it right, nobody is going to complain a bit. Alrighty, all our spaghetti squash is finished. Our chicken is done. I've cut the chicken up. Alfredo sauce is finished. I do want to mention though, if your Alfredo sauce seems too thin to you, you can add a couple extra tablespoons of butter in there. That'll kind of help thicken everything up. But it's really up to the chef as to how they like their Alfredo sauce. So when I've got friends or company over, I like to serve my sauce in a separate dish on top of the chicken Alfredo, just because it kind of levels it up a little bit, makes you feel a little bit fancier. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour some sauce onto my noodles. I did make some fettuccine noodles as well as the spaghetti squash, and I garnished with a little bit more freshly grated Parmesan cheese and a little bit of bacon crumbles. You gotta try it, it's awesome. So I've got some sauce on everything now. I'm gonna take a bite first of just the spaghetti squash with some sauce on it. Look, it looks just like spaghetti. That's delicious. I think the texture is better compared to spaghetti with spaghetti squash than it is with zucchini noodles. I know a lot of people are kind of freaked out by the texture of zucchini noodles because they're always they're either al dente or they're mushy. This is really, really soft. It holds together and it's long pieces, so it kind of tricks your mind into thinking you're having pasta, which I am also going to have some pasta. So I'm going to twirl me up a little bit of fettuccine here. And I'm gonna get a piece of the delicious grilled chicken. Y'all, if you've never marinated your chicken before you cook it in Italian dressing, of any kind, I just like to use a kind of the glass bottle because it's always a nicer taste. You've got to try that. Marinate it for 30 minutes, an hour, overnight if you've got that long. 30 minutes is enough time to get it into the chicken. It's gonna make it stay so juicy, flavorful. I made it on the grill. It's out of this world. This sauce was so easy to throw together. It's cheesy, it's rich, it's comforting. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. So, if you guys have never made homemade Alfredo sauce or spaghetti squash, hopefully now you know how. Let me know if you make this meal. Thanks for watching. Hey y'all, it's Eli. Whether you're here for my hair, my accent, or my cooking, please make sure you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching Cooking for Everybody. Now everybody get cooking.